very much, and thank you for that very brief introduction. So, yes, we'll get into it. On the call today, we have four amazing people. Well, because I'm an amazing person, who are going to just be leading us in the conversation. I want to also like let you guys know that if you have questions at any point in time, you can drop it in the chat, and we're going to take those questions. But we have prepared some questions that will help us to kick off this conversation just to start. I would read out the bio of the participants so that, just also to help you understand who they are. First, on this panel, on this conversation today, it's not really like a panel session as you would have it, but like here with us today, willing to share their story and give us tips on how we can kick off our own careers in tech. We have Oyeleye Mustafa. Mustafa is a seasoned software engineer with over 10 years of experience in software development and ad tech. He's skilled in server administration, cloud architecture, PHP, Python, and JavaScript. He has developed software and web applications for various industries, including education, finance, insurtech, and retail. Hi, Uyeleye. We are so glad to have you on the conversation today. How are you doing?
Good afternoon.
And thank you so much for joining us.
Okay, I'm happy to be here.
All right. Uh, Next person, another fantastic person that we're happy to have adding our voice to the conversation is Adirunke Akinyemi. Adeyoke Akiyemi specializes in governance, risk, and compliance domains of cybersecurity. She's focused on developing and implementing robust information security strategies, conducting comprehensive risk assessment, third-party vendor assessment, security policy development, security audit, security awareness training, and ensuring compliance with industry regulations and standards. A lot of security in there. Hi, Adeyoke. Nice of you to
Hi,
join us.
Ajoke. Thank you for the introduction. Hi, everyone. I'm happy to be here.
Right. And we have Moses Peter. Moses Peter is a software engineer with over 10 years of experience in production experience with a BSc. He has a BSc in computer science and a master's degree in AI and data analytics. Moses has a proven track record of delivering services from ideation to production and maintaining, refactoring existing code base for performance. He's also vast in documentation, scalability, and readability. And we are glad to have Moses Peter join us in the conversation today. Hi, Moses.
Hi, everyone, and thanks so much for having me.
Thank you. Okay, just to begin with, reading through your profile, Moses, especially, I'll start with you. Reading through your profile, you you do, unlike when I read Mustafa, when where you could essentially tell how he develops stuff, right? Your profile is a little different in that there is, core technical background in there, and you do a lot of ideation and production and maintaining. When people read this and when people think about tech, I think ultimately they think about, oh, JavaScript, Python, write code, and all of that. So can you talk us through quickly your journey into tech, and maybe if you can in like a minute or two touch on how that journey has led to this many things that you do, which are not necessarily just, or how it is beyond just coding and whatnot.
Yeah, sure. So my journey into tech is quite an interesting one. Uh,
Yeah,
so I started tech from my secondary school,
yeah,
right, when it really wasn't popular then. So I got very exposed to computer at an early stage. I think I was GSS3 then. Um, so I've I play around computer, Windows SP then, install operating system, install games, and I played
yeah,
a lot. Okay. So, and I wanted to build my own game because I loved playing game. So because of that, I joined the science department. I know there's something called programming I need to know how to do. So I started pursuing programming from there, education-wise. Then after my secondary school, I enrolled into software engineering program in
Yeah.
a polytechnic, where I started writing code. Then after that, I moved on to study computer science. Um, and that's why when you see in my profile, it's more of understanding user requirements and then converting them into products, right?
Yeah.
So I tend to learn the entire software development lifecycle, and I've been applying them. So yeah, that's, and again, unfortunately, I've still not been able to build my own game. So I went into software development to
But you
build.
have helped others to build stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to see more problems that needed to be solved than building games. So that's why I've gone into AI, gone into blockchain, and to
Yeah.
solve problems as they come. Yeah,
Yeah. Summary of what you have said, or what I have heard from all of what you have said, is that ultimately your work is to solve problems.
definitely.
Understand the pain point of the client. Ultimately, what you want to be able to do is solve problems so that whatever you build serves certain people. And
Exactly.
with that understanding, I'm going to quickly go to Adirunke. And Adirunke, I just want to ask, if technology ultimately solves problem, or if the work of all technical people is to solve problem, how then do we define, or what do we consider as the tech ecosystem?
Um, First of all, to answer your question, yes, we're here to solve problem.
Yeah.
If there were no problems, it will not be relevant, right? So the tech ecosystem is is an avenue for us to solve problems using different kinds of technology. And because we live in an era where everything happens quickly. And so
Yeah.
it's technology that empowers all of that, the microwave, the software, you can send money. I can send money from the UK to Nigeria and it gets there in 2 seconds. I mean, these are, this used to be impossible, but then technology has made it possible. So yes, it's a huge ecosystem and the one which everyone is relevant. So in the development of, say, LEM5, for example, or let me say GT Bank app, for example, there are people who are business analysts. They they reviewed the requirements and they understood what problem they were trying to solve, how best to solve it. And then the developers themselves, who now take information input from the business analysts, the products managers, because they've sat down, they've thought the whole application through, and then
Yeah.
they give the developers develop that. And then it moves on to the testers who quality check that application in terms of load testing. If 2 million people use this application, what's going to happen? Is it going to crash? So those ones do their job. And then it moves on to the DevOps guy who deploy and then everybody's using it. And also the customers are also there to even give a feedback. And that's also an important part of the work that we do. So everybody is important and
Yeah.
different skills come together, in working together in that ecosystem. And there are people as well who all they do is try to secure this application. If a hacker is trying to get into my system, they're trying to inject some code into my system. There are some people that their job is to prevent that or monitor that,
Yeah.
to have to set up tools to monitor the networks. And, so it's a huge ecosystem and
Yeah.
everybody, whatever role that everybody is playing is important, is relevant, not only the developers or do you get what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah. While you were speaking, you mentioned, customer feedback, customer success. I mean, that's usually people that are in charge of, receiving and maybe processing such information are largely not coders. They don't code. They don't do any of
Yes.
those
Yeah,
technical stuff.
100%. And
Yeah.
because my background, I started as a software engineer. I went to school with Moses and Shino, but then I didn't like it because I had other strengths that I wanted to put to work and I wanted to make money with. So I moved from software engineering, did software testing, did project management. So it's like, and now I'm doing cybersecurity. So it's like I've been around, so I
Yeah.
understand how everything sort of pieced together.
Yeah.
And so in my role as a product manager, so there's a product that I've put out to market, for example, GT Bank app. And then somebody is using it and they come up with a complaint, oh, this button is not, is not right, or my finger is too small, or it's too big for my finger. So we
Yeah.
take that feedback and then use it to improve products. You get what I
Yeah.
mean? So some customer success is important because it is the information that we get from them that we use to
Mhm.
improve the products. We use to build new features or remove features or streamline features. You get what I mean? So
I
it's
do.
important that you don't need to be technical to be able to say, oh, when I click on this button, this application is not intuitive. Or
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So
I do.
it's also an important part of the equation as well.
Thank you very much. And I'm going to move to Mustafa. Mustafa, so Itato, we have identified that technology or being a tech person ultimately is solving problems. And from what Adirunke has said, we have also come to understand that being a tech person does not also mean that you are always coding. So we're solving problem, but I can also like solve problem in tech without coding. Can you talk to us
Mm.
about? I want you to talk to us like I am a novice. I do not know anything, but I have been hearing about the rave in tech, and I have realized that oh yeah, I have interest, or at least I'm curious enough. I want to explore. How how should I get started? What do I need to know? What do I need to do?
So that's a very good question. So the first thing you need to know is you can use tech in all sectors, right?
Yeah,
So in fact, tech is now an appendage to all sectors in Nigeria, for example. So think of agriculture, we have agritech. Think of insurance, we have insurtech. Think of education, edutech. Just think of any sector and add tech to it. So now,
yeah,
you now try to find a purpose in all this sector. What can you do in this sector using technology? If you have something you can do in this sector using technology, then you can go into tech. So, and another thing I want to correct now is that you don't have to be a computer science graduate before you can do tech. Let's keep that in
right.
mind. Myself, myself, I did study computer science in school. I did education in school. I did teacher education. In fact, I'm a teacher by training. All right. So, what I did when I wanted to enter tech was that I love computation, like mathematics computation. I love it a lot. So that prompted me to like venture into tech. So
Yeah,
now, how did I pick the area that I am currently in tech? Because of my love for computation, I'm not good with combining colors or design. So I ventured into what we call back-end programming, back-end engineering. That is, that's where we have to write programming language, write logic to power your application, your software, and everything. All right. So the first, like I said, is for you to discover your strengths. Discover your, if you like mathematics, well, you'll be good in back engineering. If you like graphics, you have eyes for details. You'll be good in UI design or UX design. You
yeah,
understand? If you like, making sense out of data, okay, you know how to like when you see data, you make sense out of it easily. You might be good in data science or data analysis. Okay, these are areas in tech you can venture into based on your strengths and your interests. Okay, so it doesn't have to be using programming languages. No. In fact, if you know how to coordinate people, okay, you know how to coordinate people from the beginning of a project to the end of the project, you can become a project manager in tech. So there is always space for everybody. So just discover your strengths
yeah.
and follow um, the strengths.
Yeah, thank you very much. And that's a very profound response because ultimately, success, I think, becomes a bit more reachable if we're reaching for it from a place of self awareness. I think Aderonke also mentioned something similar, that she noticed at some point, yes, she has technical knowledge, she could code, but she noticed that there are certain skill set that she has, or certain strengths that she has as a person, that she wanted to leverage, and that has sort of charted the path that she has followed. So ultimately, I think that people should, and this is then talking to everybody, even people that are already in tech, if you are constantly feeling stressed, feeling dissatisfied, feeling unhappy about what you are doing, it might be that you are probably too far away from your nature, too far away from who you are. I would also like give an example. Myself, I know that naturally writing comes easy to me, storytelling comes easy to me. I don't find it difficult to articulate what I have in mind. Um, and when there was the rave of everybody is coding, everybody, I know that I struggle, or I do not really have interest in coding. Why am I writing anything that is not like English language or Yoruba? Why do I need to learn other languages? And I found my own space in tech, which is, oh yeah, when they are done building whatever they are building, they need to tell people about it. They need to get people to buy it. They need to get people to use it. Who are the people working on this? So that is also like, for me, also leveraging into what is already natural to me. And I think that that is an important point for everyone to be aware of. Now moving on to also starting. Why was it starting? Yes, now I have realized, or I am self-aware. I know my strengths. I have picked a field. I've probably also like started learning, or I've gained some knowledge. But I want to be able to make money. I want to be able to secure, maybe build a career or secure an employment with whatever skill set I have learned. As a beginner, now I am in a field. Maybe I've decided to be a product manager, project manager, whatever, a developer. How do I begin to build my portfolio in a way that, how do I get work to do? Because portfolio is showcasing what you have done, right? But how do I get the opportunity to showcase, right? Just as a newbie. And I think maybe Aderonke, do you want to take that one?
Okay. There are various avenues to showcase your skills depending on
Yeah,
the path that you wish to follow.
yeah,
For example, for software developers, it's easy. Build stuff, put it on a website, let people see it, put it on your LinkedIn that, oh, you did this and you did that. That can
yeah.
work. For a UI UX person, you can download that tool. I don't remember what the name is now. And then just do stuff or mimic. You can mimic what GT Bank looks like and do it
Do you mean
online as
Figma?
well. Yeah, Figma. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
You can use Figma and then just do stuff and then show it off on social media.
Yeah.
For product management, I'm not sure of what you can do. I mean, as in terms of not really into the job. And also for cybersecurity, you can on your laptop, you can download Kali Linux and practice stuff. Do you get what I mean? Just discovery. You're not permitted to hack into anybody's computer without their permission. So that is completely illegal.
Yeah.
But you can just practice stuff, out of a textbook. And then it can be on your CV that, you did this enumeration or you found this or you were able to. In fact, there are even tests, websites for pen
Yeah.
testers that are just hosted just for people to practice their skills. So that's something that you can do, and then that can go on your CV.
Mm-hmm.
As a GRC person, the core thing that you'll be doing is communicating standards and frameworks to people. So you can
Yeah.
go ahead and read that standards, and then you can give a feedback or a summary of it on LinkedIn. For example,
Yeah.
PCIDS says as a new version now, you can just read the version 3.2 and then the version 4, see what the difference is, articulate it to people that are out there, So that is already that's all it takes to be a GRC
Yeah.
professional. Being able to understand the standard, being able to understand security requirement, being able to explain it to technical people and non-technical people, and
Mm-hmm.
also coordinate the entire process of implementing those security requirements. And that's
Yeah.
that's all it takes to
Yeah.
be. So depending on the routes that you like to follow, those are like the sort of ways I would take um to to
Building
get
your
started.
portfolio.
For me, when
Yeah.
I was starting out in InfoSec, I was in a new country. I didn't know anyone. So I joined the boot camp of people who had already achieved what I was trying to achieve. And then they trained me. And then I did some practice, some like course hands-on projects on the while doing the bootcamp. So that went to my CV. They did reference for me, and yeah, they handheld me through the interview process, and yeah, they helped me land my first job. So you need to, be part of a community as well that are doing that sort of a thing, and they can help you launch your career. And if you're in that sort of community, some are paid, some are not, and then
Yeah.
just there for them to support you, for them to guide you through, and then yeah, that's what I did actually.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense because I think ultimately the summary is to just get doing. You can't just be in a corner and waiting for someone to like just drop whatever you need on your lap. You have to get doing. And similar to yours, I think how I built my portfolio was I got into the industry just by writing, to be honest. I started as a content writer. And how I landed the first job as a content writer was that I was writing. I had a personal blog and I was just writing. I was not making any money off of it. I was not, in fact, I didn't know that people were looking or people were listening, but I was writing. And when people were looking for who to write and they found it, and the conversation started. So if someone has learned something, you have to do something about it. You have to put to practice what you have learned. And you did mention also about some things might be paid, some things might be free. So you have to volunteer. I think volunteering culture is something that we need to imbibe, even when we have become professionals. Also finding time to just do for the sake of doing. Like the doing should also be a form of reward in itself. Just seeing something come to life, I think, is also a way that people can find fulfillment and satisfaction, and it also helps you to like sharpen your skill set. So yeah, but there is also this challenge of, even when I have been building or have volunteered somewhere, but the truth is I still haven't landed a job before. There is this thing that may suggest to a lot of people, even people that have been working for years, that, oh, perhaps I'm not good enough. Perhaps what I know is not enough for the industry, or a lot of people know more than I do. And it's called imposter syndrome. Moses, as someone who has been working for so long, let me ask you first, does anybody have imposter syndrome? I don't care, before you go, do you think what do you think about imposter syndrome? Do you think it exists? Have you ever experienced it? Let's start from there.
Is that a question for me or for Moses?
Yeah, that's for you. Then I'm going to move to
Okay.
Moses. Yeah, it's just for
Well,
you.
to be honest, everybody has imposter syndrome. That's it. Even if you've done a job for 10 years or for 20
Yeah,
years. So when I
yeah,
got my first job as an information security analyst in a big company, I
yeah,
was scared. Oh, would I be able to do this? I'm just coming from a boot camp, blah, 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 blah. But then I got there, I was doing it, and my manager was saying, oh, you're doing well, you're smashing it. I was still feeling a sort of a doubt.
yeah,
And then someone joined the team who had done this for like, she's been doing it for like 10 years.
yeah,
So, of course, that imposter syndrome now really kicked in because I have someone in my team who now has like all of the experience, right?
yeah.
But I found that because in my field, as I said earlier, things improve. So she had experience with version 3.2. I had experience with version 4.
Yeah.
So I found that I was even the one explaining things to her.
Right,
And
right.
and then I saw how she approached problems. Like
Mm,
if she didn't understand something, was shy to ask. So it's sort of, I felt more confident in the fact that it's okay to not know everything because I've
right.
seen somebody who she has all the, in fact, before she joined the team, they were already saying, oh, I found this person, she's this, she's that, she has worked here, she has worked there. So I was thinking, but then she came, it was the version of this thing that framework we were working with were brand new. And I had started working on it. I had researched, I had read, I had bought books, I had done courses. I was
Yeah,
already even, getting developers to implement some of those security requirements. As
yeah.
she came, and then I had to be the one to explain it to her. So, and then of course I saw that, everybody has it, whether you've done the work for 10 years. I still
Mm,
have, even in my current role. So
yeah,
it's something that we need to be aware of, but we shouldn't let it hold us back. Just be aware
yeah.
that everybody has it. And my colleague was just even telling me last week, like, oh, I don't think I know what I'm doing. And this is somebody who has worked at Swift. She's done this, she's done that. So everybody gets that. But it's just that we can't allow it to hold us back. As long as we're learning and we're asking the right people the right questions, also having the right people in your corner that you can talk about it to, and then they can guide you through, and they just have people just have a community, in whatever career that I have mentors that if I have issues, career mentors, I can just go to them, and then if it's something I'm struggling with at work, they can give me a solution or tell me a book to read or you know what I mean? So surround yourself with the right people. Imposter syndrome is imposter syndrome. Everybody has it, but just don't let it hold us back. Yeah, it is just what it is.
Thank you very much. Now I'm going to move to Moses. Moses, still on imposter syndrome, you have technical experience and you have been solving problem. But I'm sure that one of the things with solving problem is like every problem is unique. So in your line of work as a core developer, imposter syndrome, if they anticipate, and how would you suggest or advise that they also manage imposter syndrome?
Yeah, so just as Aderonke mentioned, that everybody, I mean, at a point in your career, you had that imposter syndrome. Many times we really don't have confidence in what we know because we think maybe the people on your team know more than you do. Or and that really brings people back. And should I ask this question? Will it to people, would they get to know that I don't know this as well? Hello.
Someone. I'm struggling actually to hear you. I don't know if everybody can hear you very clearly or if it's my network.
Oh, can any other person hear me?
Oh,
I
yeah,
can hear you now.
I can hear him actually.
Okay, all right. So as I was saying, that everybody, you just know, most everybody in their career at a point have that imposter syndrome. Really feel confidence in what you know because you think other people know more than you do, right? But the truth is the same way. And if you don't ask, you really wouldn't know how good myself is. When I started my first job, I was working with the president of my university. So I got into working very, very early because as I said, I love solving problems. So even back in my school days, the way we're submitting our assignments, stuff like that, I wasn't really happy with it. I was like, can I build a system for you to do this? So I put myself out there. And then when I proposed building the system, I was directed to the president of the school. So, and he's a renowned computer scientist. I mean, he'd won many awards, right? And he's flew in the US to come back and then to visit the school. So talking to him, I mean, even things I know, when he's talking about it, I wanted to give suggestion, but I don't want to because I don't know how it will sound to him. So he was quite understanding, by the way, and then he kind of created that environment for me to ask questions. So when I started talking to him, I even got to know that it seems I even know more than this man, right? So he was a computer science professor, right? But he wasn't hands-on. And stuff he was doing then were old stuff. I am the new guy here, and I have all the technical skills. Right? So with time, I got to have that my confidence. And since that time, every job I've been working, and I've been quite fortunate to work with top people. When I picked all those jobs, in some cases, I'm the only Black guy there. Every other people were foreigners from different other countries. So, but because I had known that when you have questions, ask. If you have contribution to make, talk about it. Don't think your question is stupid, right? In fact, you'll be very smart to ask stupid question and then get an answer to it. You will never make that mistake again. So the more mistakes you make and the more correction you get, the better you become. So the thing with development is put yourself out there, and the more loud you are, the better you become. And you know things you don't know that you need to know. So always don't be shy to ask questions, or don't feel you don't know as much as many people on your team. In fact, you might even be the best in your team. And you see people that don't even know as much as you do, they make the loudest noise, right? So
Yeah.
if you don't know anything, be very honest with yourself, right? Ask questions. Don't hold yourself back, right? Nobody will sack you if you're asking questions. Okay. So that
Right.
maybe
Right.
one thing people are afraid of, or maybe they think I don't know enough. No, you know, as if you are employed to that job, they have interviewed you to get there. So you already have some skill set behind
Website.
you.
Yeah.
So when you get there, you learn on the job as well. So don't feel shy. Have confidence in what you know. You landed the job because they believe you can do it. So you can definitely do it. And of course, it's a continuous learning process. You need to learn as you are on the job. Yeah. So
Yeah.
put yourself out there, you tend to learn more, and then you tend to have confidence in what you do.
Thank you very much, Moses. You said a lot of things actually, and I think the summary of it for me would be that the fear would not necessarily go away, but
In it.
you go ahead and still do whatever you have to do, even with the fear that you are feeling. Ask questions, because nobody kills anybody just for asking questions. Just make sure you ask the right questions and you ask informed questions. Let them know that you are asking questions because you have been paying attention, not questions that were born out of, oh, it's because you didn't pay attention that you have this question. And finally, you said something about um continuous learning, and that's going to take me back to Mustafa, who, and with his background as an educationist, I'm sure continuous learning on every field is important, especially with tech. When Aderonke was speaking earlier, she mentioned how there was a tool that they use in our role, and there's been an upgrade. For a professional to continue to thrive, you need to be aware of those things. I believe, but like for Mustafa, talk to us about how one can continue to learn, or how one can stay on top of all the improvements, all the developments, all the innovations, all the um, newer versions of tools that exist out there as a tech professional.
Okay, so I will try to like narrate how I did mine in terms of
Yeah,
continuous learning. So in
yeah,
the field of tech, of course, we have idols that we worship, we have heroes that we worship. So what I
yeah.
do personally, I go to their LinkedIn profile. I try to
Mhm.
see their skill sets. If I don't have any there, I try to learn it, right? So how do I learn those skill sets? The first thing is all this all this technology we use, they have documentation. Download the documentation and read. Okay. If you are not that good in reading, you can watch videos. We have enough videos on YouTube, Udemy, paid videos, free videos, right? Watch videos. Hmm? Then another thing you can do is you can read blog. So some of these big companies, like for example, if you wish to work with Google, Netflix, Uber, they have engineering blogs or tech
Mm.
blogs. Read their blogs, you learn how things are done in their company. Doing so, you are learning the recent or modern technology. And also, you can also, go for meetup, tech meetup, meet new people. Yeah, they will share, knowledge with you. For example, I started using Code Igniter. Code Igniter is like a framework for PHP. It was introduced to me in Ibadan, in one of the Google developers events in Ibadan. That was about 2016. That was when I got to know about Code Igniter, and I started using it up till now. Okay, so one good way to always learn is read ebooks, watch videos, free videos, pay if you can pay for it, pay videos
Yeah,
and watch. So that's one good way. And you
yeah,
will always catch up with trend in tech world.
yeah, absolutely. And it's so interesting given the era that we are in, which is the era of giving value and visibility. So all the heroes that you have mentioned, they also sort of have a responsibility now to stay relevant. And for them to stay relevant, they have to continue to add value. And one of the easy ways for, heroes or influencers or like gatekeepers in industries to stay relevant is for them to offer knowledge. It's one of the ways to do it. It's one of the very effective ways to do it. So if you follow these people, as he has said, if you are on the lookout, if you are hungry for the knowledge, you find it really. YouTube is a fantastic resource. Many things. People have met a lot of people whose career started by attending courses, because even after you have learned or you have been trained on something, when you want to practice, you almost always need something to go back to find a reference. And that's why it's always important to keep in touch with industry leaders and just learn from them. But for anybody who is going to learn, they first have to be curious. So you just have to be curious enough, and that's what Oyeleye has said. Thank you very much, Mustafa. While we're still talking about staying on top of things and getting being informed and being on top of trends, I'll go back to Moses to talk to us about challenges. I know that a lot of things are easier said than done. And you guys, I guess there's also a platform that you are on now, and that there's a shift in how you would see stuff, especially when you're already like a senior. There's a way you see stuff. So I want you to like think back to when you started and talk to us about some common challenges or some challenge that you faced, and tell us how you were able to overcome it.
Uh, I mean, if it's when I started, I had
Yeah.
tons of challenges, and leads to today, because this, when I
Right.
started, so it was quite difficult. So when you had an issue, you tend to have nowhere to go. So you need to read a whole lot of books, a whole lot of
Mm,
documentation, before you get to solve it. So it was really challenging because the growth rate then was quite slow compared to
mm,
what we have today, where internet is quite cheap. Then we are using GPRS then to Edge, so things were quite slow then,
yeah.
and during light. So in fact, so many challenges actually, until I got a small laptop, very small laptop then, because back in those days, your laptop battery, if it lasts 2 hours, you are the best, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, but now you see laptop battery lasting for 6 hours, 10 hours, 15 hours, right? And also internet speed is however, I met up so many people, and I talked to a whole lot of people as well. And mostly the challenges people face today uh, is around losing interest when they start learning. So you see them, they start learning, oh, I want to take this course. They have that steam at the beginning and they start learning. So 2 weeks into it, and they've just lost interest. Like, I don't know how to motivate myself. I don't know how to proceed with this. How do I go to do this? And most people I talk to, that's their challenge. That, oh, programming is difficult. I cannot continue with this. I just get tired. I pick it up now, and after 1 month, I've lost it. So, and what I've seen the problem is with these people is that they are trying to do it alone, right?
Mm,
In today's world, even back then as well, I told you how difficult it was. But today, you don't have so many resources. You have so many boot camps. You have so many schools that are offering all these courses that are structured. So um, the challenge of you losing steam or having some difficulty also cause that I hear from a lot of people is, I have this problem, I've been solving it for like 3 days and I'm not getting results. And you see people get tired, right? So you could see that everything is still around not being able to solve a problem or not seeing someone to handhold them as they are growing. So Ronke gave an example of how she landed her job because there were mentors she got that
yeah.
and held her to getting a job, and then they trained her to what she is today. So when it comes to learning and then all these challenges around losing steam, not being able to continue, I think the best solution is for you to enroll into or join community that people are doing the same thing as you are, or enroll
Yeah.
to a course that is structured where you have maybe instructors or people that motivate you. And when you have problem, you have people you could talk to that can easily give you a helping hand. Also, get a mentor. It's very, in fact, I can't overstretch that enough, right? Get a mentor. When you have a problem, talk to them. They've experienced everything you are going through. They can easily direct your path on what to do. So I think that's pretty much it. And then
Yeah.
lastly, right? You see people, they've done the course and then they are looking for a job. They don't have a job,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So that's another thing that just make people pack their programming bag and throw it away and go back to whatever they are doing before. So they don't have a job. So if you don't have a job, right, uh, um, volunteer. There are many companies that are looking for interns, even when they are not looking for interns. Put yourself out there. Tell them you want to work with them as an intern, right? So just get into a company. There are many startups around that are ready to take you in. So
Yeah.
join a company, work as an intern. You might not be paid. Just join. As you are learning, you are growing. You then start interviewing, and then and again, you hear many people say, "I'm interviewing, I'm not getting the job." But when you join a company and then you are doing internship in that company, you tend to learn so much, and then you gain confidence that will help you land a job. So those are the two challenges I see in the
Yeah.
field. Yeah,
Yeah. And I just want to add to the getting the job part because that's a very big one. After someone had learned that persevered through the boredom of learning, they have acquired the skill, but they are looking for a job. I think the traditional way that we go about looking for jobs is seeking someone's permission. They don't have they sometimes we can go ahead and do it has volunteering, but volunteering does not also mean that you have to ask them, can I volunteer with you? And they say, oh yes, volunteer with us. No, sometimes you identify the problem, you solve it, and you send it to them to say, hello, I saw that you were lacking in this area. This is what I thought could be done about it. This is what I have done for you. In cases where such conversations have been had, rarely rarely do people walk away without, it might not be an rarely do people lose out completely out of situations like that. And that's something that I always advise people who are just starting. You know how to do something now. Is it something that can be deployed in your church or your religious organization? Do you have a sibling who has a business who could benefit off of that? Do you have a friend who has a business who could benefit? Go ahead and do it. Two things: you are honing your skill, you are building your portfolio, so it gives you more confidence, like Moses has said, when you're not having other conversations with that person, because then you're not saying I have never had a job. You don't need to tell them that you were not paid for it. What's important is that you've done something for an existing business that is functional. Nobody needs to know that you were not paid for it when you're having a conversation with other employers about it. So I think that that's something that young people may also want to. I'm a young person, but like people are just starting in the industry. They want to. Thank you so much, Moses. And now I want to. I'm coming back to Mustafa, and I know that I'm asking learning related questions because I know that with your background and the work that you do as well, you are able to like add nuanced um, context to it. For someone who has a job, who has a skill, who has probably done some things, volunteered here and there, ultimately they will still get to a point where they need to sell themselves to somebody. They need to have a conversation with a technical person and convince that person that for a fact I know what I'm doing. Mustafa, how should new people, newer people in the industry prepare for technical interviews?
Okay, so that's a very good question. To show that you have the tech knowledge, you must have
Yeah.
proof. Yeah, proof is your portfolio, right? Okay, so make sure you have portfolio. And how do you go about getting one? Try to solve the problem of tech. Down the website for your own matter. You can build a website for your church. You know, you can build a website for your friend's business, and make sure it is live. This would be a proof that you have the tech knowledge. That's first. So another thing to also consider is to have a basic knowledge of what the role you are going for. So if you are
Yeah.
going for, say, a back engineering post or position, know the basic knowledge behind that position. If they're looking for a PHP developer, now, for example, know PHP. You don't have to know frameworks. Know PHP, the framework and the basics of that language. Because most of the time, when they interview for tech roles, they ask for basic knowledge. I've done that before. Yeah, I ask people, for basic knowledge, not necessarily the high level knowledge that people usually prepare for in the interview. Okay, so that's second. And the third one is know about the industry you're going to. So once you know about the industry you're going to, you know things, the skills, the tech, the tools they use. Now you have to now prepare yourself, regarding how to use those tools, such that when you get to the interview, you know how to answer questions when they ask questions regarding the
Yeah.
industry. Okay, because most people will employ someone with industry knowledge. So if you're doing a research about the industry, will give you the knowledge about the industry. So this will be your technical interview.
Yeah. I struggled to
And that's
hear Mustafa. I hope that people heard him clearly. Did you guys hear him clearly?
Yes, we did.
Ah, okay, great. Thank you. Um, all right. The new Mustafa, are you done? Have you submitted? Okay, yes, it has.
yes, yes. So
Okay.
yes. So for some people, for the people that can't hear again, what I said is that the first thing, if you're going for tech interview, you must have a
Mm-hmm.
proof that you have the tech knowledge or the technical
Yeah,
knowledge. Have a portfolio to show for it. All right.
yeah,
Have know for the role you're applying for, know the basic, knowledge about that role and the industry you're going to have, do your research and know about the industry. Okay. So these are the questions they will likely ask you when you get to a technical interview. Okay.
yeah. Thank you very much. And now there's a new rave. So there's technology, and technology is evolving. How people perceive work, working in tech is evolving. There's a new rave of the AI. Adurunke, how should newbies approach the AI rave? Is this something that how should they how should they approach the AI rave?
Um, First of all, it's good to understand um what's out there. For my field, it's important that I know the latest. For example, deepfakes, because I'm into risks and compliance. So I need to understand what are they doing, what crimes are they using AI to commit now? How can my company be vulnerable? So I'm always looking at, the latest,
Yeah,
that AI is doing. But for a general, for I think it'd be good for them to understand how to improve their products with AI, um, learning from, it depends on the software really. So for them to, make it more efficient, they don't have to. I know I have a friend who is a software engineer, so so when he wants to idealize how to read the functionality, he just uses AI to flesh out the initial ideas. And then, so in your role or in the field that you're trying to get into, understand how AI can be used to make you
yeah,
better at what you do.
Yeah.
To be honest, a lot of these things are free. You can join tech blogs to understand all the latest thing that is happening, how it is being used, whether positively or negatively.
Yeah.
And for somebody like me, I need to know the positives, I need to know the negatives, and then create a learning material and then tell it to the organization, oh, there is this fake now. Somebody can impersonate our CEO to say, sign a check. Do you know what I mean? So that for
Yeah.
my job, I use it for awareness. But for a software
Yeah.
developer, maybe to improve a product, make a feature better and all of that. And it can also be used to make yourself more efficient. And it's not difficult. Well, for people who build AI things, I think I did some study a while ago. It's basically all maths. So if you are a maths, if you like maths, then you find AI easy to get into build, AI features and all of that. But if you're not really into maths, then just understand how to use it. You don't have to be the
Yeah.
one to build that AI functionality, and then just leverage on the knowledge that you have
Yeah.
and use it to make yourself better.
Absolutely. I consider AI my unpaid, well, sort of unpaid assistant because it helps to just, I feel like people need to, there's the rave that, oh, maybe AI is coming to take jobs, oh, you don't have to develop anything anymore, or oh, even tech skills are probably at risk. If that is going to happen, I don't think that is in our generation. I mean, I am very careful to rule out the possibility of anything because the world is moving, right? But where we are now, AI is still in its learning phase. It's still in, all of what is feeding off is largely on human activity on the internet, right? But that's the informative, side of AI at least. And I think that for new people who are coming into the space, is to leverage it, like Aderonke has said, and see how you can use it to optimize your own work and yourself as well. And we are rounding off here. I have like one major question which I'm going to ask all the participants to give their own responses to. If anybody in the audience, I hope that you are you know learning a thing or two. I hope that this conversation is informative enough for you and worth your while. Please, if you have your own questions, now would be a good time to drop it in the chat so that I can take them and ask. Feel free to also specify if the question is directed at somebody or you just would like to get a response to it. But from my own end, finally, I want to ask you guys to talk to us about rejection,
Oh,
about how because when one is starting, I think I don't know, guys laughing so hard at the face that I think all of us on this panel are, we know what it is, right? You know that, oh, because you've done a lot of things before. If somebody says no to me now, it's not a personal. It does not say that I don't know what I'm doing. But for people who are starting, who are probably also going to suffer a lot more rejection because they are the ones looking. I feel like at some point, some opportunities are inbound, they come to expert. For people who are starting, there's a lot of rejection that happen out there. And I'm going to start with Mustafa. Mustafa, how talk to us about rejection. How should young people and new people in, I mean, again, everybody's young, but like people who are just getting into this industry, how can they prepare their hearts and their soul and their minds for rejection? How should they handle it? How should they even think about it?
Okay,
Yeah.
so all right. So rejection will happen whether I like it or not. Okay.
Yeah.
Like last year I sent out about 30 you know I've applied for about 30 jobs, both outside the country and inside the country, all rejected, right? So it's meant to happen and it's bound to happen. So how do you handle it? The best way to handle it is just to see it as an opportunity to also improve more on your skill. So what I do is that for every rejection I get, I increase my skill such that the next job I'm applying for, I'm going with full force. Okay.
Yeah.
See it as an opportunity to improve yourself. Okay. Maybe you are not prepared at that time, or maybe you are not the best fit for that position as at that time. So
Mm.
once you're rejected, prepare yourself for the next one and improve on your skill.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and that's the best way that I feel to handle rejection.
Yeah.
It's part of showing appreciation.
All right. Moses.
Yeah. In fact, I think maybe I'm the right person to answer this question, right? uh, because I tend to have a very big mouth. I mean, not physically, by the way.
Mm,
So when I was in Nigeria, I wanted to only work outside the country, right? So I I wanted to earn in dollars, you know. So most of the applications I was sending were to companies outside Nigeria. So I could tell you for a fact that I've received more than 500 rejections,
wow.
right? And when people talk to me about sending CV and then getting rejection, I say, how many have you applied for? Say, I've done about 10. Say, you've not started, right? So if you've not gotten 200 rejections, right? You have not been rejected, right? So I apply a lot and I got so many rejection at the beginning. But that didn't deter me from applying, right? Because I had a goal. I wanted to get a job that pays X amount. And those jobs were not in Nigeria, right? They were outside the country. So I needed to apply. And again, applying from Nigeria, I mean, there is already a quotation mark on the name Nigeria when you apply outside the country.
Yeah.
So when I get all those messages, some CVs, they don't even check your CV, they don't even organize interviews. They just reject you on the spot, right?
Yeah.
Those ones that they organize interview, I go into every interview knowing I either get the job or I learn how not to get rejected again. Right. So with time, I started learning how to approach interviews. And that's why when I go on interviews, mostly it's conversational. It's not question and answer, right? Because I've learned that what you are selling to them is the value you want to give to the company. So with time, so
Yeah.
don't be afraid of rejection. Get them, use them as stepping stone to learn how not to get rejected. And again, to me, when I was applying, I'm at a point I started applying for jobs in was when I hear some of my friends outside the country, they're earning 6 figures. I also wanted to earn it. So just imagine you're in Nigeria and you want to earn that money outside the country and you are making applications. So there are many rejections. So, but as you are getting rejected, just know that it's a stepping stone for you to get to know how not to get rejected. So don't get maybe depressed because you are being rejected. No, there are people that have been rejected 101 times than you
Yeah.
are. So that
Yeah.
doesn't mean you don't know what you are doing or you are not good enough, right? So never, in fact, you are very good for you to even shoot to get to that point. So
Yeah.
don't get despair. Ensure that for every rejection, you learn from it and then ensure you don't make the same mistake again moving
Yeah.
forward.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that. And finally, Adirunke, what do you have to say to us about rejection?
Uh, rejection is normal. It's part of the job. I have a
Yeah.
folder in my email box. It's called Decipher Job Rejection. So every time I've applied for a job and I've gotten rejected, I've moved that there. I am sorry to tell you that we'll not be going further. I have a folder
Unfortunately,
there.
Unfortunately,
unfortunately,
Unfortunately, I am supposed to. There was one job I applied for, and what they said was about you're asking for too much money. Da, da, da. I'm like, what are you saying? I'm not even asking for up to this amount. Anyway, so it is part of the whole journey, and they
yeah.
are in stages. In this, there are some jobs that you apply for it like 7 a.m., 8 o'clock. They already sent you the unfortunately. And I'm like, did somebody even review this at all? So what
Yeah.
my sister told me then was, if you apply for 10 jobs and you get 8 rejection without any interview scheduled, there might be a problem with your CV.
Mm-hmm.
Not that there will definitely certainly be.
There might
If you
be.
apply for 10 and 9 come with immediate without any no interview, nothing. If you apply for 10 jobs and you get one interview, so it's Okay, that's good. So it's up to you. It can be if you apply for 20 and you get
Mm,
5, then there might not be a problem with your CV, and then you can, now start working on what you learn from the interview. I think for me is that the more interviews I had, the better
yeah,
I got at doing it. And then again, you have to understand how interviews are done where you are. In Nigeria, I could go to an interview and they're asking me what is something, and I'm telling them. But in the UK, you have to use something called the STAR approach. You have to
yeah,
learn it. It has to be situation, technique, approach, so there's a way it is done, and it has to be scenario based. Oh, there was a time when I did this and then that, and then this was what I got. So until you master the way they do the interview in the company that you
yeah,
want to do it, in the place that you want to do it, you might be shooting yourself in the
yeah,
leg.
yeah,
So it's something that we all have to go through. I personally have a folder in my thing. So when I'm in the job market, there's a folder. Unfortunately, I move it there, so that when that opportunity
comes.
comes, I know I can pat myself in the back that I didn't give up. And I show my friends, oh, you're applying for me, self. Oh, in fact, as I woke up, like we call it breakfast. Or my clients will say Ella, oh, they're giving me Ella. So we don't even get sad about it. Oh, I applied
Mm,
for KPMG, oh, they gave me Ella. Oh, it is normal.
yeah,
As long as you're learning from the process, as long as you know that your CV is solid, you
yeah,
are confident in your skills, because sometimes it's not even about the technical skills. There are roles that are not technical. If a technical person applies for it, you will not get it because you're technical. In GRC, there are roles that it is technical. If non-technical person applies for it, they will not get. Because I've sat in an interview where it was for a cloud security analyst, but they didn't want somebody too technical. But the person that came was really technical and couldn't non-technical side of things, so he didn't get the job. So you also
yeah,
have to understand. So if I get shortlisted for the first interview, one of the questions I always ask the recruiter is, what would my day-to-day look like? What is
yeah,
on the roadmap of the organization? So someone will tell me, oh, we're looking at doing PCI DSS, or some we're looking at pen test. So I know that in the next stage, that's what I'll prepare.
yeah.
I
For
always ask them to know what they're currently working in that team. What is that
yeah,
team working on? What project is that team working on? So that I will now use it to go and learn about all those things that they said that they're working on. And I'll say, oh, I'm the best at this. I've done this for so and so years. So it's normal and it's a learning
yeah,
curve. And then the better you get rejected, the more interviews you get, the better you get at,
yeah,
just, and then eventually everybody gets, if you don't give up, you get something that you like. And then
yeah,
for me personally, that year when I was searching, I eventually got one that even the things I didn't pray for, I got. So
yeah,
sometimes, like they say, that delay is not denial. It
yeah,
might just be, and I was now even telling myself that, thank God I didn't even get this job. Oh, I'm not going to the office 3 times a week. Oh, and it's even far when I now got a remote role. And so even
yeah,
sometimes when the salary of one is smaller, but then the convenience it gives you, the
yeah.
perks even
It's
outside of the
worth it.
salary, like you
Yeah,
go on trips,
yeah.
unpaid for. So you just have to keep at it and then have faith and then keep building your skill.
Absolutely. Good response. I have nothing to add. Rejection is part of life. You take it, suck it up, move, keep it moving. Next one. It's a game of numbers. You have to apply, especially when you're starting, you have to apply to a lot. You have, because again, for marketing, conversion, oh yeah, people used to do 10% projection, 30%. We know for marketing, actual conversion is usually 3%. And that's a good campaign. If you know what 3% is, 3 out of 100. That's a good that's not good. Rejection is part of life. I guess that's the summary of it. There is Olushola in the chat who has a question. She says, I am Olushola. I am into digital media and I have worked as a media person for almost 9 years. That's some experience there. Managing and creating content on social media. Now I just started my blog. As a media person, how do you think I will benefit from tech and what area of tech would be useful for me? Who is the who wants to? I mean, I guess Mustafa, do you have a thought on this question? Is Mustafa here? Okay, so I'm just going to take the question because I think it's most relevant to my industry. If you've had with your 9 years of experience in digital media and you wanted to know how tech would benefit you, I think that it depends. It depends. Are you asking for how tech will benefit your business, as in the blog, or tech will benefit you as a person? Because if you're in digital media, one of the things that I would expect that you are already conversant with are the digital media tools. And if you are able to um, efficiently use those tools in market, there is the technical side of marketing. So there's the creative side, there's the technical side. I don't know if you have been heavier on the creative side. If you are on the marketing side, would love to answer the question. Okay, sure. Give me a moment. If you are on the marketing side, if you're on the digital side of things, the technical side of things, all the tools that you use, like your Meta has, your performance marketing tools, the analytics, all of that, that makes you technical in a way. And that also helps you in your personal business, or if you are looking to now working as a technical marketer. So there are creative marketers and there are technical marketers. I would let, what's it called? Mustafa would love to respond to the question. Mustafa, the floor is yours.
Okay, so the person Olusola said he has been working in the media for some time now. Myself, I currently
Yeah.
work in one of the biggest online media in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So the skill need, of course, the first thing you should know the basic way of how to like add content, edit content. It's also a tech skill, whether you like it or not. Whether I know it's very simple. So in the online media sector in Nigeria, they use WordPress a lot. WordPress a lot. You must know how to use it. Whether you are using Page Builder or you're using the normal WordPress editor. That's one. The second one, have a basic knowledge of HTML. Okay. There are some content you want to post. You have to like use HTML to edit those content. It will go a long way as a media person. Have a basic knowledge of HTML. The third one is search engine optimization. Okay, because when you put out content to your blog, you want your content to have a reach. Okay, and you want Google to be able to pick up your content and show it on the first page of Google search result page. Okay, so know how to go about search engine optimization, how to write articles that will be easily crawled by search engines like Google, Yandex, Bing. Okay, know that. And another part you so so you need to learn is digital advertising, not digital marketing now. Digital advertising. So that this area of digital advertising, how you sell ad inventory in real time using tech. So it's the
I stopped hearing him.
Yeah, quite close.
Uh, Mustafa, we can no longer hear you.
He's on mute.
all right, sorry, it was my network. My network. So you should learn digital advertising, specifically programmatic. So this will help you to know how you can monetize your website, your blog. Not only that you do it for your own blog, you can also be employed to be an ad operation specialist for other websites. Okay. All these I currently do, even though I'm a developer, I had to learn programmatic ad operations because of yeah, I work in the news media. This knowledge will help you, uh, you know, in your blog and outside, maybe working for somebody else. So that's it.
Um, Thank you. I hope that that answered your question. I
So
couldn't really
don't response.
tell which technical skills they want to add or how tech can benefit them as a person or as a business. But I hope that Mustafa's response did some justice to your question. Thank you very much, everyone who has invested their time, who have stayed with us up until this moment. We are rounding off now. I'll just let Alima take a minute or two just to like do another walkthrough of what the our hosts Craftudy, what they do and how.
All right. Thank you, Aditya. Thanks to our panelists. I've had a great time listening to everyone. Okay, as I said earlier, Craftudy, while you're learning good, basically, we're here to help people take charge of their future and their career. So, we're here to help people learn the skills that are needed at this age, majorly. And at Craftudy, we value real-time learning. That's one thing we value. We want students to actually gain the knowledge and practice. It's not just about the certificate at Craftudy. We want you to be there and to actually know what you're here for. So if you learn the Craftudy, these are the things in store for you. Real-time learning, where you get to interact with your tutors and your co-students in real time, not pre-recorded videos. And another thing we value at Craftudy is definitely community. We want our students to share the vision. We want them to take charge of their future, take charge of their career. The word at Craftudy is to craft your future, basically. And yet, thirdly, we value accessibility. We want as many people as possible to have access to these opportunities. You know, you'll be days this digital age, you'll be days to find out the number of people who don't have access to these tools, who don't have access to these opportunities. So basically, what yet to bridge that gap. Yeah, and currently at Craftudy, we're running 4 programs that anyone who is interested can apply to. Number one is the website design program. It's a 3-month program. So if you're looking to get into the website design space, this is definitely for you. And number two is the business analysis using Power BI. If you're also looking to get into the space, business intelligence, business analysis, this is for you too. It's a 3-month program too. And yeah, thirdly, we have the virtual assistance program. That's a 2-month program. So if you're looking to get into the remote workspace, understanding basic administration duties, basically, you can want to venture into this. And lastly, we have the 9-month program, which is our integrated full stack and mobile development with DevOps program. So this is a 9-month program, and it's for anyone who's interested to launch into this space. So if this is you, you can always apply at our website, www.craftudy.com. After this session, the application link will be shared on the platform. That's the community platform on WhatsApp. So if you're interested, you can apply through the link. Thank you. Also, yeah, sorry, can I take the question, Aditya?
Yes, sure. Please.
Somebody asked the question. All right, yes, the programs are online, but not the typical online that you think. They are online, but not pre-recorded. They are live classes held online on Zoom. Did I answer your question, Blessing?
Um,
Okay.
yes. All right.
Yes, so I think that's my hand.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone, for your time, for staying with us till the end. I hope that this conversation has been worth your while. I wish everyone the best who is trying to like get into tech or get their career started. Please refer up questions if you have further questions to Alima from Craftudy. I'm sure she'll be very happy to help out. Thank you again. Enjoy the rest of your day and all the best.
Cheers. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Close.